that would be spent until the end of the year. And I'm sure that the departments and the other agencies that are part of the task force nagbibigay na rin ng estimates for next year, no, for the rebuilding phase next year. At hindi ko lang sigurado kung ano yung specific requests ng mga iba't ibang departments. Ngunit yan ay pag-uusapan kasama sa pag-uusapan sa Finance and Resource Mobilization Support Group. At baka pinag-uusapan na nila yon ngayon as they are meeting right now.
Wala pa pong nagbigay ng figures, sir?
Meron na. Marami kasing figures na binibigay. Hindi lang natin alam kung saan siya ilalamp. Whether sa 5 billion this year or sa 10 billion next year.
But for the 5 billion, sir, na allotted for this year, ano yung priority natin, sir, na pagkakagastusan? Ang
priority dyan ay yung patuloy nating pagbibigay ng relief sa ating IDPs. No? I think as proposed, a big chunk of the 5 billion allotted this year will still be for the relief efforts. For the relief efforts until the end of the year.
So nothing permanent, sir?
Well,
for the 5 billion.
Nothing permanent in the sense that we're still in the phase that we're building the transitory shelters and that we're still giving recovery interventions for our IDPs. Pero patungo na tayo doon. Kasi yung permanency naman na tinatawag natin, yan ay mangyayari kapag na-determine na yung talagang pangangailangan sa Marawi after ng post-conflict needs assessment at kapag nagawa na yung Comprehensive Rehabilitation and Recovery Program, yung CRRP.
Sir, last na lang po. Can you give us an idea bakit ganun kalaki po yung ginagastos natin for relief efforts and gano'ng katagal tayo magbibigay ng, until when will we be giving relief to our IDPs?
Well, in terms of until when, hanggat kailangan nila, magbibigay tayo dyan. Siyempre, it will shift one way or another pag meron ng mga IDPs na nailipat na sa transitory shelter sites. So baka ibang form of relief na yung ibibigay natin sa kanila. Ngunit yung mga nasa evacuation centers at yung home base, syempre hanggat merong nangangailangan dyan, ipoprovide natin, ibibigay natin yung mga relief na kailangan nila. At dahil as of last count, we have 72,000 or so families and 359,000 individuals spread out, no, in evacuation centers and home base. So malaking requirement talaga ito in terms of relief efforts. At patuloy natin itong binibigay sa kanila.
Jopel, then Ace Romero.
Sir, banggit nyo yung 5 billion gagamitin for the end of December. So ibig sabihin, sir, tatapusin din po yung transitional shelters within December?
Yung matatapos, ang sa pagkakaalam ko, ang target ng ating National Housing Authority ay magtayo ng 1,100, at least 1,100 transitional shelters within the year. Yun ang target nila dun sa unang plano. Of course, this is subject to evaluation, this is subject to revisions, no, as needed. Dahil ngayon, minamadali na at tinatapos na ng DPWH yung site development ng lahat ng transitional shelter sites, yung 6 areas dyan sa transitional shelter sites. At pagkatapos nun, itatayo na yung ating transitional shelters. At may tinatayo na namang transitional shelters ngayon. At tuloy-tuloy yan until the end of the year. But I think the goal is to have at least 1,100 transitional shelters by the end of the year.
So, ibig sabihin, sir, mga January may makakalipat na sa transitional
Yes,
shelters?
and depending on the recommendations, kung meron ng certain areas na tapos na, pwede nang maglipat kahit unti-unti, kahit hindi sabay-sabay dun sa 1,100.
Okay, Ace Romero.
ASEC Purisima, can you give us information about foreign groups that pledged donation to the Marawi efforts?
This is being compiled by our Finance and Resource Mobilization Support Group and we will release the list kapag na-compile na ito. Ngunit meron naman tayong mga foreign countries na nagbigay na such as
ilang example lang.
I do not recall the exact number at mahirap magbigay, baka magtampo yung mga nagbigay at hindi ko nasama sa bilang, no. But
sabihin na lang natin na include.
Well, it includes, from what I remember, for example, Thailand gave, India gave, and other countries na nagbigay ng mga nung nauna pa, no, including China. China also gave donations for that. No?
So nag-pledge tong mga to, ASEC.
Well, in terms of pledges and in terms of actual donations, no, I'll leave it to the Finance and Resource Management Subcommittee to release that.
Okay. So yung European countries, did they even offer?
In terms of the offer, wala akong information dyan. Baka sa ibang diretso sila sa mga agencies nag-offer. So wala akong impormasyon dyan.
Okay. Thank you, ASEC.
Okay, Joseph?
So you mentioned ribbing phase will start next year.
Well, in terms, next year, dahil this year, syempre may clearing tayo. Ang focus natin yung transitional shelters at tapusin yung PCNA at yung CRRP, Comprehensive Rehab and Recovery Plan. No? And then, kasi next year that would require funding. So syempre kung may maiwan dun sa 5 billion na pwede ng pagsimula ng rebuilding, gagawin na natin yon. Ngunit kung nakalaan na itong 5 billion na ito for the initial proposals of certain government agencies na hindi pa yung actual rebuilding, next year na yung rebuilding, pagpasok na yung funds for rebuilding next year.
You're talking about the 10
The
in
10
the
billion
JA.
proposed for next year from the NDRRM fund.
Sir, anong items in 5B?
Yung items ng 5B, from what I remember, DSWD for continuous relief efforts. At kasama na rin dito yung NHA, yung pagtatayo ng transitional shelters. Kasama yan dun sa 5B.
Sir, anong assurance na this will not go the way of Yolanda rehab plans?
Well, very transparent ang goal natin at lahat ng ating efforts ay ina-announce natin at madodouble check nyo ito in terms of the progress of our projects at the Finance and Resource Mobilization Support Group will be releasing updates on that. So it'll be very transparent at malalaman nyo ito.
Do we have enough? Ay, wala pa yung dala mo kasi October 27 yung sabi niya, sir, before.
Yes, the DALA of the initial barangays that are being assessed now. Ang goal is to have it by this week, no, October 27. So, syempre tatapusin pa yan, initial findings yan, no. Initial findings at ibabangga natin yan with the findings for the remaining barangays of Marawi. So, pero bibigyan ko kayo ng update once meron na tayong initial report on the DALA by October 27 or by next week at the latest.
Just to fine-tune your data on the foreign governments, those governments who have pledged to support the rebuilding, we're counting out yung let's put the demarcation line. So sa rebuilding, sino yung mga countries who have pledged support for the rebuilding?
I will just wait for the finance and resource. There are. I understand there are pledges, but I do not have accurate information on that. So we will request the Finance and Resource Mobilization Support Group to release the data on that.
Is this government to government or their government, foreign government to their aid agencies? Kasi sa Yolanda ganun, di ba? Hindi naman siya, kung ba Russia to the Philippines, may mga ginagamitan na aid
I think
agencies.
both avenues are possible, and I think both avenues can be explored for the rehabilitation, between G2G or through aid agencies. So we'll release the appropriate information.
If there are European countries who will pledge support for the rehab, will you accept?
Well, the task force would have to make a decision on that in light of the pronouncement of our president.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Questions? Oh, Jopel?
Sir, yung sa transitional shelters, pala-ulit ako doon. If ever, sir, na ma-distribute po ito sa mga bakwit, ano po ito? Babayaran o government ang aako? Babayaran ba ito ng mga bakwit?
Hindi ito babayaran, no. Ito ay tinatayo ngayon ng ating NHA in coordination with our HUD-C, no. At ito ay may budget from the government. So ito ay ibibigay sa kanila. Kasi transitional lang naman ito dahil the end goal, and this would depend on the strategic plan moving forward. Siyempre, ibabalik pa rin sila sa Marawi.
Okay, thank you, Jopel. MPC, no more question? Ms. Gina Jocson?
Thank you. I will just read the statement from Presidential Spokesperson Abelia on the Drug Rehabilitation Partnership Agreement by the Diocese of Novaliches, Quezon City, and the Philippine National Police. The Drug Rehabilitation Partnership Agreement signed by the Diocese of Novaliches, Quezon City government and the Philippine National Police for a community-based drug rehabilitation program in the Batasan area is a commendable move to proactively help the national government in the anti-illegal drug campaign. It is hoped that this kind of partnership can be replicated by the PNP and other offices involved in the comprehensive anti-illegal drugs campaign with other dioceses, as well as other churches and church groups in the country. This kind of collaboration between the government and the church is what our people expect, as indicated by a recent survey showing majority saying that the Catholic Church must help with the rehabilitation of drug addicts. The complementary work of the government and the church in the treatment and rehabilitation of drug dependents must further be enhanced, particularly in areas such as restoration of mental, spiritual, and psycho-emotional health. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Gina Jocson. Thank you, Assistant Secretary James Purisima. Joseph, you have a question? Question?
Do you have anything to announce as far as the end of the war is concerned? Because there's information that somebody will have to announce it at 12 noon.
Well, I have no information on that.
Okay.
Is the SND coming over?
Rose Novenario. Joseph, are you
I think there's a...
Rose Novenario. Can I have your microphone, please?
Hello, ma'am. Dahil po dito sa perceived na gumagandang relasyon ng gobyerno sa simbahang Katolika, i-encourage po ba natin yung ibang religious groups na makipagtulungan din po sa anti-drug campaign ng gobyerno?
Ma'am, tulad po nung statement na binasa ko, sinabi, we hope that the other dioceses as well and other churches and church groups in the country will follow what the Diocese of Novaliches and Quezon City is doing.
So makakaasa po ba tayo ng medyo parang kakalma na po yung pagbatikos ni Presidente sa simbahang Katolika?
Ma'am, tungkol po dyan, hindi ko po masasagot ang impormasyon na yan, pero bibigyan po namin kayo ng sagot na mayang hapon. Salamat po.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rose. Thank you, Joseph Morong.
So assuming, what we talked about is going to happen at 12. Anong benefit nun in terms of the efforts of the task force because there's now a declaration that,
Well, as we've always said, once the areas are cleared of hostilities, then we will be able to proceed forward more expeditiously in the relief, in the rehabilitation and recovery of Marawi City. So we're just waiting for the all clear, for the clearing operations to be done, and then we will proceed full swing with the RPCNA.
And then the first things you have to do, can you describe to us? Paano papasok kayo doon and then what?
Well, we will assess the area block by block, building by building. We will look at, because the PCNA has a specific methodology, especially the DALA, the damage and loss assessment. No? So we will really look comprehensively, pati yung mga daan, pati yung mga tulay, pati yung basic services, pati yung availability ng government resources dun sa area. Lahat yan titignan. Kung ilang ospital o clinics o eskwelahan o public buildings ang nasira. At syempre, ilang mga bahay, private homes or private buildings ang nasira dahil kasama ito lahat sa Comprehensive Rehabilitation and Recovery Program.
Yung time frame mo, sir, for assessing the damage, how many days are you giving that?
Well, usually ang dala ay mga 2 weeks. 2 weeks to a month, depending do sa area. No? At pagkatapos niyan, gagawin yung preliminary report at ibabangga siya with the dala for the outlying barangays at doon na tatapusin yung PCNA report, yung comprehensive PCNA report, at ito ay pag-aaralan ng ating task force at gagawa naman ng task force ng comprehensive rehabilitation and recovery program. Pero hindi tayo mag-aantay na matapos yon. Lahat ng pwede natin gawing intervention sa ngayon ay ginagawa natin. Katulad ng transitional shelters, kahit wala pa tayong comprehensive assessment sa damaged areas, gumagawa na tayo ng transitional shelter sites. Kasi halimbawa, pag nakita natin na may mga areas talaga na hindi na pwedeng balikan ng ating mga IDPs, for example, pwedeng ikonsidera na damihan pa yung transitional shelter site dahil halimbawa matatagalan yung rebuilding. So yan yung sinasabi kong lahat ng ito ay subject to revision, subject to adjustment kasi hindi pa talaga natin nakikita yung area. So pag meron tayong nakitang area na pwedeng balikan, baka hindi na natin kailangan lakihan pa yung transitional shelter site. Kaya wala pang definite talaga ngayon na sagot para dyan.
Okay, thank you, Joseph. Ms. China. Okay. Thank you. No more questions. Thank you, Malacañang Press Corps. Thank you, Assistant Secretary James Purisima. Thank you, Ms. Gina Jocson. Back to our main studio sa Radyo Pilipinas and PTV.